Hey everybody, welcome back to My Wings of Refuge. I have my little helper here today. This is Half Pint. She's missed me today because I've been at work all day and she's happy to see me. So I'm bringing her along. But y'all, I wanted to pop in today and tell you about a famous favorite book. This is a book that I have just recently finished and it is fabulous. And it's one that I think you should know about. And so it is called Henry and the Great Society. You shouldn't have any trouble finding this. I was able to find this online. Look, it's a thin, easy to read book. You will be finished with this book in no time. It will not take time out of your schedule. Henry is one of the main characters of this book, and it is being told by someone else about Henry's life and how progress and society, the Great Society, changed him. As much as he fought not to be changed. And it's really a good story. But then also it talks about simply the Great Society and how it affects our lives and how it affects us spiritually. And this tiny little book is packed with so much meat. That's why I'm highly recommending this, because it is one of them right now I'm thinking I need to order a bunch of these and everyone needs to read it. I mean, your children need to be read to. This book needs to be read by everyone in your family. Buy it for your loved ones. This will be a great Christmas present. Think about society. One of my favorite verses of scripture talks about don't conform to the patterns of this world and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, so think for a minute about the patterns of this world. So many of those patterns come from society. Let's take one example, and there's a brief mention in the book, but that is not what this book exactly is about. But take TV, for instance. Now, I don't remember a time when there was not a TV in my home, but maybe you do. And how has that changed your life? I can tell you that since I've taken TV out of my home, my life has changed drastically. I don't have to worry about some of the disgusting commercials or the horrible movies and sitcoms with the vulgar language and the sexual content and a wasting of my time. And so that is one huge thing. And so that is just one example. And I am on Facebook and social media, but I don't spend a lot of time there. I do more posting than I do of reading on there. And but think about your time that you spend on social media. Come here, little baby. Come here. What kind of time do you spend on social media? Does it take time away from the Lord? Does it take time away from your family, time away from your work? Those are some things to consider. And let's think about even further or deeper about society and what it has taught you. Our children today are being taught by society that sex outside of marriage is normal and okay. They are being taught that it's okay to have an abortion because it's just a blob of tissue. I firmly believe in marriage. Marriage is beautiful, it's biblical, and it's talked about so much in scripture. Abortion, that is not just a blob of tissue. Have you seen an ultrasound? Have you seen that? You can see, even at such a young, early diagnosis age, usually around 6 weeks, you can see the heart beating. You can make out the eyes and the nose and all these different things. And it is not a blob of tissue. And it is a living being, human being. And so these are things that society is teaching us. We live in a fast-paced, fast food world is what I like to call it. Things are always going fast forward. Everything is fast. We want our food, we get it fast. You want an answer to something, you get it fast. Everything is so fast, and you find yourself sometimes meeting yourself coming when you're going, and I mean, parents are often finding it hard to find time to cook dinner for their families, finding time to sit down with their families. And that is why I think sometimes, and the book even kind of mentions that so many families like to go camping because that gets them away from the noise. It gets them away from everything. Come here. So that they can spend time together again. But so they can spend time with the Lord. When everything is so loud all around us and everything is so fast forward, how do you hear the Lord? How do you spend time with Him? That is one thing I love and I talk about all the time. This is my wings of refuge. And it truly is, because it is quiet. I don't listen to the TV. We have a TV for emergencies, mainly because I've had it and I haven't thrown it out, but it's never on. And so if I'm in the house, I'm probably reading a book, if I'm not cooking or canning. And so I love spending time outdoors in the gardens. Think about Scripture. How many wonderful things in Scripture took place in a garden? You know, I mean, it started with the Garden of Eden. You know, Jesus wept and cried and sweated blood in the garden, and He rose again in the garden. And so the garden is so, if you go through the entire, all of Scripture, you read so much about the gardens, so much happens there, right? And so go out to your garden, flower garden, vegetable garden, whatever. Watch and look and spend time with the Lord, because He is all around and He is waiting for you to slow down and listen to Him. That's part of our prayer. Most of the time we do all the talking and we don't do the listening, but He wants the listening. He wants a chance to talk to. If you've been around a friend sometimes that talks so much and you never get a word in, right? That is not what the relationship that the Lord wants with you. He wants a two-way conversation. He wants to be able to share with you too. And especially if you're asking for answers for prayers, He may have that answer, but are you listening? Society has us busy. Society has us taking medicines and eating foods full of preservatives and things that are not good for us. Society is all around us, and it's not always a good thing. You've just got to read this book. This book is great. It's tiny. Come on, you can read it in a day. It probably won't take you but a few hours to read this. You will be so glad you did. I promise you. Henry and the Great Society. Y'all have a great week. I'll see you next time.